we have the South Africa team that is going to try and win their first Rugby Championship since 2019. That really, when you think about this is the double World Cup winners, and bearing in mind, Australia have been a basket case, Argentina blow hot and cold, and New Zealand have apparently been going through a crisis period in those years. That's probably not the sort of return that South Africa would expect from the Rugby Championship. Well, they are one win away from claiming another trophy and extending their run of wins and starting to build some form between World Cups. That is the challenge, whilst also trying to bed in the next generation of Boks. And we're absolutely seeing that with the selection, which I will get into. Thank you for watching. I'm Tim. This is Egg Chasers. If you get value from the channel, if you love your rugby, I would love it if you would just give the video a thumbs up. That costs you nothing, takes you no time, and it helps me spread the word. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Now, thank you very much for watching, and thank you, Rassie, for reinstating Tuesday team announcements. The world just feels at peace. Everything feels right in the world when there is a Bok team to talk about early in the week, as much as anything, because it gives us a couple of days of stuff to talk about while we wait for the other teams to be announced. I got the impression the reason we didn't get a South Africa team before the New Zealand second test early in the week is, well, maybe partly because they wanted to give a bit more time for Siya Kolisi to be past fit. And secondly, I think this was the main reason, Rassie might have been a bit ruffled by some of those New Zealand journalists. Whatever the case may be, glad we got the team now, and here it is. And I don't know about you, but when a South Africa team gets announced, I look at the bench first. That's the way these things have evolved, and we're seeing it again. Look at the absolute heroes, World Cup winning legends that are on the bench. Eben Etzebeth. You can't imagine he's going to go all the way to Argentina and not play at least some part in the game. So when he comes off the bench, he will equal Victor Matfield's record for the most caps for a Springbok international, meaning that in front of a home crowd, perhaps at Nelspruit next weekend, he can break that record to what will be, I'm sure, rapturous applause. So Manie Libbok back in as well. What can he do? What can he prove? And then some of the new blood coming through. Jan-Hendrik Wessels is a hooker backup now. That's an interesting one. But nice balance there between the new faces and the established heroes, legends, World Cup winners. And that's exactly what it looks like when you look at the starting 15. And despite 10 changes, so much talent on the field. And when you look at this, and I'll break down the positions in a minute and what I make of it, but the general thought is 10 changes and a team that looks like that. And this is part of a bigger plan. It always is with Rassie, isn't it? And you have to imagine what this squad is going to feel like and look like in a year's time, 2 years' time. Let's say 2 years' time, 2026. We're looking ahead to the 2027 World Cup. Legitimately, South Africa are going to have a squad of getting on for 40 or 50 players who have all played plenty of international rugby, can all be trusted at the highest level. And in some positions, you're not going to know really who the first choice and who the second choice is. For the rest of the world, that's a frightening prospect. And the building blocks of that are with selections like this, because there is some risk involved in this one. Yes, they can always, even if they lose to Argentina, which for the record, I don't expect them to, they've won the last 9 out of 10 against Argentina. The last defeat to Argentina was in 2018, and Argentina do blow hot and cold. So they do have a great performance in them. But even if South Africa lose, they can win the Rugby Championship next week. But the building blocks for the type of squad that they want to get to is games like this, where, again, Rassie Erasmus, it's a phrase I used on a video before, he's risking losing in order to achieve the ultimate goal. When you look at, for example, the second row partnership, both very good players, Salman Murat, Ruan Nokia, but probably, in fact, I can't think of a more inexperienced lock pairing that I could try to think of I can't think of a more inexperienced lock pairing for South Africa. So very, very good players. They're going to get some much needed game time. They're going to be in a much better place. The whole squad, the whole team's going to be in a better place after this game on Saturday as a result. But could that backfire? I mean, I think when you're looking at the pack, 3 players have been selected who, if there was a World Cup final this weekend, would be picked. Oxenchain, Malcolm Marx, Jasper Wiese. But some really, really good backup players. Marco van Staden's got a couple of World Cups to his name. Ben Jason Dixon is a Pieter-Steph du Toit clone. How much can he close that gap to PSTD over the next couple of years? Pieter-Steph du Toit, by the way, there's some people have described him as being rested. I get the sense that he doesn't know what resting means. They've actually had to chain him down to stop him from going to Argentina for this one. But to see BJD in for PSTD, that's quality. And look, I'm biased. I live in England. I watch a lot of Premiership rugby. The Premiership getting underway this weekend. Thomas du Toit was the best prop in the Premiership last season. He was absolutely awesome. And if he can translate some of that club form to international level again, he could be a frightening prospect. His work around the park, as much as he's scrummaging, and he can scrummage on both sides, he's immense. So really looking forward to seeing that. When you look at the backs, and maybe the most interesting selection, I don't know about you, but in the starting 15, firstly, observation with the back line, wheels so much pace. It's frightening. Reinach, Mapimpi, Am, Creel, Arendse, Fassi. That is rapid. With Hondre Pollard pulling the strings in the 10 jersey. But Lacanio Am at 12 is maybe the most interesting one in the backline selection. I don't know what you think, but Damien Dialende, I would say, has been South Africa's best back for the last couple of years. Pieter-Steph du Toit has been the best player and the best forward. DD8 has been the best back, one of the first names on the team sheet. Absolutely world-class inside centre. However, for all of the things that he's amazing at, is he the best person to bring to life the new game plan that South Africa have been trying? There's been a lot of balls going to deck, been a lot of offloads not working. Now, I would always pick Damien Dialende in a team if I had the choice, because he just gives you a focal point and some go forward. But distribution, I would say, is not his strength. Not bad, but that's not something that he's really, really strong at. Footwork and all the rest of it, he's like exceptional at the things he does. And he can do other things as well. But with this new game plan, could Lacanio Am be a better fit? Ultimately, thinking a couple of years down the line, could that person even be Damien Willemse? Or is this just a case of building depth in certain positions? By the way, has Andre Esterhuizen come back from his ban yet, or is he still banned? Interesting. Lacanio Am played centre on his own, played inside and outside centre against Portugal. Hopefully he can have a game with someone outside him, and we'll see what he can do in that 12 jersey. But it's just quite interesting, and this is what's interesting to watch this South Africa team at the minute, is who they pick where, what the pecking order might be, who they're going to give plenty of experience to so they can grow into the role, and which selections fit the way they want to play the most. Yeah, just when you look at the stats, the Boks have never won 6 consecutive matches in this competition. That's Rugby Championship and Tri-Nations. They have never, ever before won 6 games in a row. They will have done if they win this weekend, as well as sealing the Rugby Championship and as well as making it 10 wins in a row against Argentina, which is precisely what I expect them to do. Tell me what you think down below. I'm going to say the Boks by 8, albeit I haven't seen the Argentina team yet, and that says a lot. You can make 10 changes. You can have 5 guys in your pack that wouldn't be starting in a World Cup final if it were this weekend. You could have, you could say the same about the back line. You could say that Kurtley Arendse, Jesse Creel, and they'd be the only guys guaranteed to start in a World Cup final this weekend. So you could argue 10 players, if there was a World Cup final this weekend, 10 of these guys in the starting 15 wouldn't be starting. But they're still incredible players, excuse me. Amazing. So we'll see how they get on. Let's wait for the Argentina team, and then we can do a combined 23-man squad and chew the cud a little bit more. In the meantime, I'll tell you what, if you missed it, I've got an interview in the channel with John Dobson, head coach of the Stormers, and Dion Fourie, aka Brannis, a man that I said when I came to South Africa I wanted to track down an interview, and I managed it. If you haven't seen it, please go and check that out. Hit subscribe on the channel, give the video a thumbs up. I will see you on the next one.